Hey guys, it's JH. Welcome to Practice Tee. Finally got rid of the storm for a while. Every afternoon they've been coming in just washing us out. Okay guys, carrying on with shift and drive. Guys, I just want to relate a little story to you that I think that'll be interesting. It was certainly interesting for me and will probably the highlight of my entire golf life. Guys, earlier in the week I had a practice session where, now get this, from the first ball to the last ball I hit perfectly, dead center of the club, perfect flight. Never done that before in my life. I hit about, I think about 130 to 150 irons, ranging from 4 iron down to 7 iron, and at various targets, and everyone was in the middle of the golf club. Perfect strike, perfect flight. At the end of the irons I then took 35 balls and I hit 35 drivers between two markers 35 yards apart. Everyone was in the markers, and frankly guys, they were in a corridor about probably 15-18 yards wide. It was quite extraordinary. After that I then took 35 balls and I hit from over there to those two flags on the green, which was 110 yards, with a wedge, 35, and I hit them perfectly, and they were between those two flags, and I got to the last 3 balls. And I got to tell you guys, I was nervous. I thought, JH, you're going to achieve something you've never achieved in your entire life. As a matter of fact, I've never seen anyone do it. Hit every ball in a practice session in the middle of the club and where they wanted it to go. I've never seen that happen. I've never experienced it. Anyway, I had 3 balls to go and I hit the 32 balls perfectly, and I thought, I've got 3 to go. And I hit the next one, it was good. And then the next one, I had 1 to go, and I thought, JH, if you miss this, you've lost an opportunity of a lifetime. You'll never probably go down this road again, ever, as long as you live. Ever. It was a moment in time. Anyway, guys, cut a long story short, I nailed it. Hit every shot perfect. Now, it was one of those extraordinary moments in life, particularly in my golfing life. But guys, I put it down to the fact that I've gone back to my old swing, which is the shift and drive, and my brain has accepted it now. And maybe because I'm older and more mature, I can just get it in there and lock it in better. It just feels so automatic now. And guys, to tell you something, just to add to that story, which is probably just, you're probably not interested, but it's interesting. In the early 60s, 10-pin bowling was introduced to Australia. And it was very new. And the guy that, one of the management team, or the management group that owned a bowling alley here in Australia, in Sydney, I knew the guy. And I went over there when he basically had it open for a couple of weeks. Anyway, I had a couple of shots and I thought, this is great. And I got enamored with it. And guys, true story, I practiced every day for 6 weeks. Every day. At least 2 hours every day for 6 weeks. Sometimes on the weekend I'd be there for 5 or 6 hours. Anyway, at the end of 6 weeks, in a practice game, I bowled a 300 game, 12 strikes in a row. The people that owned the facility went nuts. Everyone went nuts because it was all there on the board, and we all went nuts. It was just, but guys, I knew I was going to do it. After I'd bowled 8 or 9 in a row, I thought, this is going to go on forever. It just went on, and it was just extraordinary situation. Again, a moment in time. Now, in those days, in those early days in Australia, you just couldn't imagine that happening, particularly for someone who wasn't a bowler. But I was a super athlete back in those days. I had great coordination, and I bowled the ball with amazing revolutions and rotations. So the power that I had when I hit the pins, I got so many ricochets, and they just destroyed the rest there. Sometimes the hits were less than perfect, but the ricochets were so powerful, they got everything. I was getting things coming off the backboards hitting the pins. There was so much power in it. Anyway, to cut a long story short again, guys, from that moment on, I realised, being the pragmatist that I am and the realist I am, that I would probably never achieve that again. And so I could never ever do any better than what I'd just done. I could never do that again. Well, I probably could, but I'd achieved the ultimate. Couldn't probably never do it again, but even if I did, it wouldn't be any better than what I just achieved. And guys, you know what I did? I stopped bowling. I completely lost the urge to bowl. And I was doing a lot of other things in those days as well, but I thought, no, not going to do this. I've achieved that. I'll probably never achieve anything as great as that again in bowling, so I'm not going to do it. And I stopped. So I've had that highlight in my life, that extraordinary period or instance where something happens of an absolutely amazing nature. And it was amazing. It was extraordinary. And again, after I bowled the 8 or 9 strikes in a row, I knew I was going to get 12. I just knew it. And I never went for a 13. The ball game, never, because I thought, I've done it. There's no extra score for 13, so I don't do it. And I didn't. But guys, I gave up. I never bowled again after that. Oh, that's a lie. A couple of years later, I had some social games with guys, but just for fun. But I lost the impetus to play because I thought, I'll never go down this road again. I'll never exceed the optimum. I've done it. Climbed Everest. Can't go any higher. There aren't any higher mountains. But guys, the point I'm making here is I'm not going to now say because I've had the perfect practice session that will stop me wanting to hit golf balls again. I'll probably never have one of those sessions again, but I've had it. But what it proved to me was that this swing has that much potential. Okay, I got in a groove. And when I practice, guys, I'm a lot different to most people. When I practice, my balls are over there, probably 10 paces away, and every shot I have, I walk to the balls, pick a ball out, bring it down, pick a target and hit the shot. I don't pull them across and hit. So I don't get in that sort of pull a ball across, hit it type body momentum thing. I don't do that. So that was a real practice session with a real purpose, and it was extraordinary. Okay, there was no wind, which made it, not easier, but it certainly took the edge off it being hard. Anyway, guys, just a story, and I thought I'd tell you. But the point of it is that going back to my old shift and drive swing, it works, guys. It works unbelievably well. Okay, a couple of points about shift and drive. Now, somebody said today, I think I got an email today and said, JH, isn't the shift and drive the dreaded sway, which every instructor says you shouldn't do or apply in your golf swing? No, it's not a sway, guys. If that's the trail vertical axis, you never want to move that in the golf swing. You can move to it, but you don't want to move it. And as a sway, you move it. All the mass does this. You'll get your weight to the outside of the foot, and then you'll sort of dipsy-doodle back this way. The shift and drive isn't that, guys. We establish that trail axis, and we just move this lead side mass into that trail axis. We just shift it from here to here. Okay, let your head move if you want to. Doesn't matter. Now, all the teachings, and I've been an advocate of it. Keep the spine centralised and just turn around it. But there was a guy called Curtis Strange who won 2 US Opens back to back and had a purple period for about 5 years where he just kicked everyone's butt and was a magnificent ball striker. I saw him in person out here in Australia, and when he won the Greg Norman at the Lakes and when Roger Davis beat him at Palm Meadows in the Palm Meadows Cup. But the ball striking was off the scale, guys. And Curtis was about my size, not a giant, but hit the ball beautifully and hit it long in the old days of those clubs. But Curtis did this because he was a Ballard protege, and he was here, and he just took this, guys, and he just put it over here. Never worried about his head. But he never went like that. He went here. He just moved this to here. That's not a sway. That's a shift. That's a tangential shift. Now the shift, guys, and I want to point this out, the direction of the shift is this. It's tangential. It's not that. There's still got to be the element of the turn in it. It's a shift turn. We get this here, and we still turn here, but we shift turn. We don't just go like that, because that could be very hard to keep that trail leg in place when you do that. So that's just an explanation on this not being a sway. But also, guys, I don't, and I must say, in my old swing, when I first started playing, and then I played with it for 10 years before I changed it, which I told you guys before, I'm pretty sure that I just let my head have free rein, in that I just went to here, and wherever the head went, I didn't care about it. So here. And even on the downswing, just let it go. And guys, just let it rotate, let the head rotate. You don't have to keep it there. That's really hard on your back. But David Duval, Annika Sorenstam, Robert Allenby, great ball strikers. That's them. They've never seen a ball hit in their life because their head's always here, coming into impact. Duval is here, Sorenstam's here, Robert Allenby's here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, they've never seen a ball hit in their life because they're here. Their eyes are over here. And why are they over there? Because they've got a free rotation of the upper body. Here. The head doesn't do that. It doesn't change its height. It just goes to there and then to there. The head swings on an arc as well. And it takes a lot of pressure off your upper spine and your lower spine. You know, the lumbar region, the sacrum region. And I've had some injuries there over the days when we're motor racing and motorcycle racing. And I've got a suspect lower back. So for me, it really does take a lot of the strain off the back. Now, guys, the other thing is, of course, the drive. Now, I haven't got the drive back into my golf swing that I had when I first started playing. The drive in the golf, I used to have this feeling in my mind about an application in the downswing, and that is that for me being a right-hander, my right foot or trail foot, it used to drive my right hand. I get to the top of the swing here and I drive that and feel like the right foot was pushing my right hand. That's what I used to feel. I'd get to here and I'd feel that. That's what it felt like. And that's how I used to get that tremendous drive out of that trail foot. Now, Hogan really drove off that trail foot. And he really hit it hard with his trail hand. I mean, the famous saying, I wish I had 3 right hands, not 1. Because so hard did he hit with the trail hand. But how did he develop the power with that trail hand? Okay, clearly he was clearing the hips, but he was also driving with that trail foot. And driving the pressure, momentum into that hand. And that's what I haven't got yet. But guys, it's early days and I haven't had a chance to get out here. The only real practice session I did was the other day when I hit that perfect practice session, where I hit the 130, 150 balls and then maybe a couple of hundred all up. That's the first full practice session I've had. And I haven't been back since. So guys, the message is this, plain and simple. It's not a sway. We establish this here. We set this in position here. Right, there it is. We just move this to here. Move this to here. You want to feel like that. That's the feeling. The more of that feeling I can get, no question, the better I hit it. No question. The drives I hit the other day were just exquisite. Now, it's very hot here today, guys. My hands are very, very slippery. But going with my general theme of practice, where I always start with the driver. And people just say, but why? Because it loosens me up. It's a longer club, it has more momentum, and it loosens me up. I haven't hit a shot. Got a hard left to right wind this way here, out of bounds up there. I'll just take it inside those trees up there. And guys, because I've been in the gym, you know, I work out every day and I'm very, very stiff at the end of the workouts. Although it was a few hours ago, but always the early shots I'm always a little stiff, and it's hard to get, at my age, to get the mass moving. Now, what am I thinking with the driver? I'm thinking this. Okay, the elbows are up, guys. The pockets are up. These are down, they stay there. We get that pressure, that clockwise rotation of that trail arm, and it increases that on the downswing. It increases, and this one does that. This one goes the other way. This one comes this way, and that one goes that way. That's how we get it. If we had a tray here, and you've got to have the pressure there in order to keep that tray there. And of course, the whole idea of that, guys, with this process, having the elbows down, is that the arms stay in the middle of the body. Turn around, the club's still in the middle of the body. Here. It's there. It's not over here, it's not over here, not here, and it's not here. The grips are just so wet, or I'm sweating so much already. So I certainly won't be cold, that's for sure, but I am sweaty. Okay guys, first shot of the day. Try and hit it, the big trees up, 2 big trees up there. I'll try and hit it the left side of those trees, but within the canopy, which is about 40 feet wide. So it's a big shift. I don't know if that sound comes through on the audio, guys, but that was just right smack dab in the middle. I'm not seeing the ball hit. I'm just trying to do that. Trying to rotate it. But I don't want to fire the club over here. I want to finish here. When you finish there, guys, you know that you've swung with the elbows in position. I mean, that's just a bullet. What ball flight am I getting? Much higher than I normally get. It's an 8-degree driver, but 8.5 actually, and I normally hit it much lower with this club. But because I'm coming in with pure loft, and there's no rotation overtaking any loft off it, I'm getting good loft on the club, and it's just really getting up very high. So now ball position, guys, I don't know. Wherever it is, it is. I just have my arms here and I don't move them, then I just get comfortable. Wherever that ball is, it is. I don't worry about it being off my left heel, left toe, middle, I just don't worry. Wherever my arms are here, their body's centered, and then I just come in here and I just set the club down. My hands are just the same as if they were hanging beside me, guys. That's how I take my grip. Wherever they are just hanging naturally, I just put them on the club. I don't manipulate them. There's no concocting of the hands in any manner or form. They just go on the club like that. What could be simpler than that? People say, how do you grip the club? As simplistically as I can, as naturally as I can. That's how the hands sit normally. They sort of hang in a little bit, just put them on the grip. There it is, guys. That's all I do. Nothing's concocted there, none. There it is. That's just a little lesson on the grip. I see so many guys going to extraordinary lengths fiddling around with their grip. You don't have to do that, guys. Just put your hands on the club the way they hang off your arms normally when you stand upright. Now we've really got a hell of a strong left to right wind here. Okay, here we go. Now get it over there, JH. That's just a carbon copy of the other shot. Now just a bullet, gets up there, the wind's about 40 k's or 35, and it just gets up there, and as it runs out, it just peels it to the right, a couple of yards. That's only because the wind is blowing that way. But hear that contact, guys, it's just perfect. And this is an old dude. This is an old dude. Now I've got to really, as you get older, everything starts to fail and you get injuries. I've had a really sore elbow for a couple of months now for some of the training I do. But the stupidity, old age stupidity just prevails, and I just keep doing the exercise. And guys, so, I'm not getting as much straight arm through the ball. You may even see that there's a little bit of that right arm just bent a little bit. But the lead arm will always be here on the body, but the trail arm might be a little, because it really hurts to straighten it. But it doesn't worry the ball flight at all. And I haven't got as much drive in that as I want, real clearly. Come on, Joe, big shift. What am I doing in terms of improvement? I think I picked up maybe 5 miles an hour in my clubhead speed with the driver, which is like 20 yards. And with the irons, probably half an iron. But the carry is fantastic with the irons. It's this flight, guys. It goes out, just falls straight down. No parabolic in it, just goes out, falls out of the sky. So you can control your distance. When the ball comes in like this, and you can't control distance. Okay, hit another one, then I'll just adjust that camera if I can, and I'll hit some irons. I'll go back, I'll just do another video. Okay, just one more driver. Try and get across, JH. So just set up natural, guys. Just going to move it over here. Well, those drives are just perfect. They're all the same. Identical golf shots. And the same part of the club. Okay, guys, I'll just take a break because the video will be too long. I'll come back and might hit some shots down range. We might actually be able to get a bit of ball flight today. I'll put the camera down lower and we might be able to see a bit of ball flight. But I'll come back and hit some irons anyway. And I might hit some this way.